Hey there guys and gals. Many of you saw my recent video on my new shop project, my new shop going up this summer, and I did get a request to see my existing space. So, as I kind of said in the previous one, it's a lot smaller. This space is about 32 by 26 and is a shared space. So it's a lot more cramped, especially considering I've been picking up more and more things, as you may have seen on my Instagram feed, to go in the new shop, where I will have more space. So, with no further ado, here we go. So here is where I was just standing a moment ago for the introduction. This is my workbench, my toolboxes, where you see the majority of my videos filmed, along with some of the breweries I have brought things back from. Those two are in Duluth, Minnesota, Superior, Wisconsin. Good old decimal equivalent chart from National Twist Drilling Tool Company from Rochester, Michigan. Very old one, as you can see in the phone number. Got a number of other antiques, as you can see up here, a bunch of oil cans, Michigan bottles, a number of other things. I tend to collect a lot of garage-oriented things, some signage. As you can see, I've got a few common YouTuber tools, the Duresta toothpicks, Eric's minis there from Hand Tool Rescue, Jocko Whatever's Maker Knife, Eric's original wrenches, along with a couple Randy Richards scribes. And you'll recognize some of these projects if you've watched my previous videos. These are the smaller ones that will fit nicely on the bench top and still allow me room to work. Got the Wilton vise there not too long ago from Evan Giese of the Restoration Podcast. And my camera, just a older Nikon D7100. See some fireball squares there up for some of the welding projects. You may have seen them used to build my recent gate for the new shop. And right over here, 90 degrees to my bench, is my Atlas lathe. Technically it is an old change gear lathe, a TH54, 54-inch bed, but it has what's referred to as the Popular Mechanics tool gearbox. So I can actually change the gearing for threads with relative ease. Not a factory quick change box, but it works. A number of my other breweries I've been to, and another slightly newer decimal chart from the same company. And directly behind my bench, one of my bikes. You'll see a very quick video on this coming up soon, a 2017 Yamaha Super Tenere ADV bike. This little Craftsman toolbox has mostly welding gear. And right here is a Heston Anderson swing saw. Can't really show you how it works too much right now. It does actually operate. The saw just comes out forward. You pull it toward yourself as it is cutting, and if you're not stiff arming it, it's basically the reason that OSHA exists. It will climb through the wood and come up to you. Behind that, tucked in, is a Mittler Brothers bead roller I picked up recently as well for one of my truck projects. 36-inch throat. I'll be using it. My main excuse is for a tailgate. And right here is my Atlas 7B shaper. I restored that mostly last winter, a year ago. Was no real video on that. I finished up the electrical the beginning of this winter, back in December, and got it running, made a few chips. This right here is just an old sign corner notcher that I picked up this winter as well. Old cast iron. Sterling. Actually has a little bit of interesting heritage, having come out of the Carnegie Institute. Also back here is an old Delta Milwaukee Homecraft bandsaw. Nothing special, it does run. I just haven't gotten around to cleaning it up. These old file cabinets back here are, the top one is motorcycle gear. My helmets, my clothes, leathers, clothes, so on. The lower levels are old tools, nuts and bolts, paint and material. A few more little antiques and such. All my old pop crates, and yes, I do live in Michigan. It is called Pop. Here's the backside of a planer you may have seen a video on not too long ago. I picked up out in Nebraska. Also back here, picked up some Pexto tinsmithing gear. That's all leaning up against a Harley Davidson 1963 Topper scooter. They only made those about 5 years, and that's one of my many projects. Down here below the lathe, a lot of tooling that came with it. It was a hell of a deal I got on the lathe itself. And down here as well, a number of my future project vices. That far one is a Reed, Prentice, Wilton C3, 2 Columbia 209s, a Monarch, and then another Rock Island swivel. You may have seen the videos for those two over there, the big Rock Island and the woodworking Rock Island. Coming back around, work out into the rest of the garage. Bunch of storage, a number of projects over there, along with parts for projects. Small tools, big pieces. Back behind the lawnmower. There's another view of the Yamaha there, along with my old Harley Sportster, 1986 Sportster. You haven't really seen much on this tool yet. I just got it very recently. A Brown & Sharp number 5 cylindrical grinder. I have not had the opportunity to do much work on it yet. It should plug in and work just fine once I have 220, 240 3-phase set up in the new shop. And here's the front view on that planer. Have another one of my little projects, valve grinder right there, along with the transmission out of my Dodge WC. The Atlas Clousing drill press weighs about 400 pounds. That was a lot of fun to get out of the bed of my truck with no help. Torches, generator. There's the front side of that Harley Topper. The truck cab back there is one of the projects. It is the 1950s Rio commercial truck, REO, founded by Ransom Olds, who founded Oldsmobile. That will be going on a 1988 F Super Duty Ford that was a factory dump truck. Here a little closer, right next to the garbage, is a belt grinder I put together a few years ago. Have my little Scat Blast sandblasting cabinet that is not yet set up. It won't be until I put it in the new shop. Back here a little, get a better view of the front of the cab there. Bunch of parts for this itself, the Rio itself, along with a bunch of parts for the Dodge. There's some extra storage back here. My engine hoist. Good old Harbor Freight. This is down here. We've got some tooling for the tubing bender over here. I picked this up back in December as well from one of the auto shops that was shutting down, liquidating. The guy was retiring and nobody wanted to buy the business, so he was selling everything off. I imagine this thing should fire up, but there's a little bit of repair work to do, and I don't really want to set it up until it's gone through. This is about all I've got right now for a paint booth per se. Just use what I need to when I need to. And here is another major point from my videos, the little wire wheel, hand tool rescue style, parts and restoration style. Not the best job, but it does what I need it to. And a couple of my dad's old toolboxes, and that some of you may recognize as the first project I ever did was for my sister. Cleaned up this old stool, painted it, restored it. She just hasn't gotten around to putting it in her classroom yet, which she can't even go to right now, so I guess it continues to sit. The front end for the Dodge WC, the engine is off in the machine shop getting taken care of, getting rebuilt. The radiator for it, I'll have to get somewhere once everything settles down to get that record. So this is generally the space I work with. Anytime I bring something like that Brown and Sharp or this big old planer, I have to rearrange the entire place to get things filed away, keep a little bit of workable, walkable space. I'll step out to show you a little bit of the outside. And right there's the house, our trucks. The heat for the house and shop, wood boiler, we've had that running for about 12 years. My old boat that never sees water, hasn't seen water in a couple of years. And on the back side of the garage, we do have a small lean-to. That bed will be being remade for the Rio. And also back here is the front end for the Rio. They've got a fairly distinctive style to the hood. Front end's in there, fenders are kind of buried back there. Just had to get more room for the bigger equipment that had to stay inside. Got a big fenced-in yard for the dogs, so we can just have a dog door in our sliding door, and they can go in and out as they choose. Right over there, past those trees, is the shop site for the new shop. Back here is an old garden we used to have, or used to keep, and some other assorted storage. Okay, folks, that's my existing shop. If you have any questions, let me know below. And if you like what I'm doing, just let me know that too. Like, subscribe, do what you do. Thank you all.